Hi everyone, and welcome to our remedy of the week. Today we are exploring one of the most fast-acting and dramatic remedies in homeopathy, Aconite, or Aconitum napellus, commonly known as monkswood, wolfsbane, or blue rocket, and that's the purple flower that's around me. It is a striking deep blue, not purple, flowering plant native to mountains of Europe. It is quite tall and its helmet-shaped blossoms give it the name monkshood. But we mustn't be fooled by its beauty because in its raw form, aconite is highly toxic. It has a long history in folk medicine and even in warfare because it was used to poison arrows. It belongs to the Ranunculaceae family and has been used in traditional herbalism for fevers, neuralgia, and acute inflammatory conditions. But when you ingest it in a crude state, it can cause things like sudden fever, rapid pulse, intense fear, restlessness, and even numbness. So when we, again, apply the homeopathic principle of like cures like, and use aconite in potentized form, it becomes one of the most valuable homeopathic remedies for such conditions with similar sudden intense symptoms. The homeopathic remedy is prepared from the fresh plant before it starts flowering. Its primary sphere of action is in acute conditions that come on suddenly, often after exposure to cold or dry wind or after a shock of fright. Dr. Hahnemann described aconite as suitable for the first stage of inflammation, or fevers, or conditions that are marked by sudden onset, heat, restlessness, and anxiety. But it is not limited only to acute states. It is also excellent chronic remedy for situations when there is a lingering fear, anxiety, or restlessness that stems from a past trauma or shock. For example, someone who has never been well since a fright or an accident or a surgery and still suffers with panic, with insomnia, palpitations, and similar symptoms, they may really benefit from aconite. As James Tyler Kent says, aconite is not always short-acting. It may be deep and long-lasting when the symptoms correspond, especially in chronic effects of fear. So in acute situations, we think of aconite when symptoms appear suddenly and with intensity. So the suddenness and intensity are two really key symptoms for aconite. Again, according to Kent, fear, fright, and anxiety are the ruling characteristics of aconite. The patient, they often have fear of death, and they are even sure that they will die. So for aconite, there needs to be that suddenness, intensity, and also some level of fear, anxiety, or fright. We often use aconite as the first remedy in acute illnesses, especially after exposure to cold wind or AC or draft or anything cold like that. Or sudden fever with dry heat, restlessness, and anxiety. Also panic attacks and shock after fright or accident, beginning of croup or colds or influenza. And usually that would be after exposure to cold, or for example, palpitations or sudden chest pain with fear of death. Aconite is not just a remedy for the body. We mentioned a lot of the mental emotional symptoms, and it is profoundly effective for the mind and emotions. And the characteristic emotional state of aconite is, again, what we already mentioned many times, sudden intense fear or panic, restlessness. The patient really cannot sit still. They need to pace or, do something with their hands. There is that fear of death, especially at night, agitation after witnessing an accident or hearing bad news. William Barricke summarizes aconite really beautifully as a remedy of great intensity and short duration. Its fear lies in the beginning of acute diseases. Aconite teaches us how to respond to sudden disturbances with clarity, presence, and calm. It brings balance when the system is in storm, physically or emotionally. So next time you or your loved one show signs of sudden fever or panic or shock, think of aconite and give it a try. It's one of the most essential remedies, and it is in pretty much any homeopathic first aid kit. So thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next week's remedy, which will be chamomilla. Until then, stay calm, stay grounded, and inspired. Bye.